Hey, gals and guys, this is Christopher Mosier from My Media Helper, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday to you all. And this is our last day of our 7 days of free streaming movies you can watch, and my review towards them. And I'm going to discard Crackle this time out and replacing it with a free streaming service called Plex. And coincidentally enough, and what I didn't realize is that Plex and Crackle began working together in May of 2020. And this was followed by the launch of Popcorn Flicks VOD offering on Plex on November of 2020, and the launch of the first linear channels from Crackle and Popcorn Flicks in the US in December of 2020 and January of 2021. In replacing Crackle with Plex, I'm not really replacing Crackle with Plex, as a lot of Crackle library is on Plex. So win-win. So yeah, hey, I can walk. I got everything off. I can walk normal, and I didn't get my Christmas hat, unfortunately, but next year I'll do better for you. But let's get into it, shall we? All right, let's get through this. As you know, this song and dance, if you've watched my other review streaming videos, here's the streaming services we've covered this week and where you can get free movies all year round. Here's the movies we'll be reviewing today. Some good, some not so good. And this is where you can find the movie links, and you can put your comments below. So here's the Plex logo, and let's get into our 5 movies for this day. Discarding Santa is a 2018 film. In an attempt to decommercialize the holiday, City Council outlaws all references to Santa Claus for Christmas. Years later, evidence gathered from news footage, security cameras, and other sources tries to piece together the subsequent events. So I decided to watch this film because it had a cute premise. The trailer was enough to get me interested. I mean, I could tell it was a very low-budgeted, small production. A lot of times those types of films surprise you. This one didn't. A cute premise is the only thing this film had. The first scene was actually pretty good. It opened well, and then it was all sledding downhill from there, more like a shitball rolling downhill. Not a snowball, but a shitball picking up shit along the way, forming this big shitball that eventually crashed into a tree, spraying its shit particles everywhere. This movie shows that you can edit any piece of crap together and get it on a streaming service like Plex. And you can also find this piece of crap free to view on Tubi, Vudu, and Crackle. The execution of the premise was disastrous. Discarding Santa used found footage approach, telling a story with home movie cameras people held, house security camera footage, police car dash cams, and etc. All this was edited in an attempt to tell a linear story. I'm not sure if any of you remember this, but there was a time some 20 or 30 years ago when people would go on vacation and take photos that they converted to slides. So when a group of people would be at this person's house, he would break out the slide projector and subject everyone to these vacation photos, which were normally boring as fuck. This is how this movie is filmed. This is my grandfather breaking out his slide projector to show vacation slides that no one gives two craps about. There is so much wrong with this movie. The main character is a police officer and also a husband to his wife, and they both have 2 children. This father is the worst cop in the world. There are sounds in the dead of night in the house. The daughter runs to the parents' room, afraid due to the sound. Her father, the police officer, tells her to go get her brother and bring him into the room with them. This father, who is a police officer, told his very young daughter to go into the dark hallway in the direction of the sounds to get her brother. This father, who is a police officer, puts his daughter in harm's way while he stays in bed. Then this police officer patrols the house looking for the source of the noise, not knowing what it is. He gives his young son a bat to hold while this police officer holds a video camera. At no time does this father, who is a police officer, go for his gun, not knowing what has caused the sounds. It could be a gang of thieves. It could be a serial killer. Who the hell knows? Cut to the police station where there's a box wrapped in Christmas paper in the middle of the hallway. 3 police officers from either end draw their guns and aim them at this little box in the hallway. Okay, let's say there was a bomb in the box, just for argument's sake. What are 2 police officers aiming their guns at this little box going to do? Do they think Jack the Ripper is going to jump out of this foot? 1 foot by 1 foot Christmas wrapped box. It made totally no sense. And then they kicked the fucking box. Barney Fife is more competent than these idiots. Back to the family's house, where they find another wrapped box on their step. This dad, who is a police officer, pokes at the box. Okay, let's say inside the box was a bomb. Is it normal police procedure to poke at an unknown box placed there in the middle of the night? Perhaps the dead of morning? I will never ever move or live in this town because law enforcement are the dumbest puckers on the planet. And then the movie just ends. They showed shots of Christmas presents lying all over the city, which also didn't make any sense because the ordinance in the town wasn't to do away with Christmas presents. It was to do away with Santa Claus. Wouldn't it make more sense to have Santa Clauses placed all over the city streets? I hate this movie. It crushed my holiday soul, at least with Kirk Cameron saving Christmas. I knew it was going to be shit because Kirk Cameron is a religious whack job. I had promised for discarding Santa, and all it did is discard a giant Santa shit on my head. This movie is beyond terrible. Don't watch it. Don't ruin your Christmas. Put it aside. So that was the bad. Let's get into the good. In a previous 2022 Christmas movie video, I reviewed the television production of a musical version of A Christmas Carol with Kelsey Grammer playing the main role of Scrooge. I lambasted that telephone as it was terrible. On the other side of the coin is Scrooge with Albert Finney, also a musical, far superior, although I've seen this movie a few times, and it's more well-known. I feel it's worth a review and a spotlight. I grew up with this film, I love this film, and unlike the terrible Kelsey Grammer Hallmark production I reviewed in another video, this movie is brilliant, and I'm actually watched it again tonight. Scrooge is a 1970 musical film adaptation of Charles Dickens' 1843 story, A Christmas Carol. It was filmed in London between January and May of 1970 and directed by Ronald Neame, N-E-A-M-E, and starred Albert Finney as Ebenezer Scrooge. The film's score was composed by Leslie Bricusse, B-R-I-C-U-S-S-E, and arranged and conducted by Ian Fraser. Sorry, folks, I always ruin names. With 11 musical arrangements interspersed throughout, the award-winning motion picture is a faithful musical retelling of the original. The posters for Scrooge included the tagline, "What the Dickens have they done to Scrooge?" designed to head off any criticism of an all-singing, all-dancing old skinflint. Finney won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Musical Comedy in 1971. The film received 4 Academy Award nominations, including Best Original Song for Thank You Very Much. And this movie is such a staple of the holiday season and a near-perfect film. Definitely a watch for your Christmas enjoyment. November Christmas. November Christmas is a 2010 American made-for-television Christmas drama film based on a short story by Greg Coppa. The film depicts a young couple struggling with the illness of their daughter and the effect their family had on a small rural community they had become part of. The film was shot in Nova Scotia. It was presented through the Hallmark Hall of Fame and premiered on CBS on November 28th of 2010. Movies presented through the Hallmark Hall of Fame are levels above anything shown on the Hallmark Channel, just so people don't get confused by the two. And this is a Hallmark drama. I do these things once in a while. I at times find Hallmark movies that I review. If it wasn't for Sam Elliott and the rest of the cast, this one would have went in the virtual crapper. Normally anything associated with Hallmark or Lifetime stars Dean Cain or anything associated with a dog. Nothing against dogs. I love dogs. It just seems people make crappy movies about dogs at the holiday time. Princess Bakers, etc. But this was a Hallmark Hall of Fame, so a level above. It's amazing how a wonderful cast can propel a script into a whole new thing. The movie was a slow burn. It was nothing that compelling. It was a nice holiday stocking stuffer. So open it up and check it out at Christmas. It was a nice, just quiet Christmas movie. Surviving Christmas with Relatives, also known as Christmas Survival in the United States, is a 2018 British Christmas film written and directed by James Dearden. It stars, and I'm going to butcher their names because I have no idea who they are, and on the flip side, they don't know who I am either. Julian Ovenden, Jemma Wellen, Jolie Richardson, and Michael Lands, I guess. It was released in the UK November 30th of 2018 and was not well received. Aw. Miranda and her husband Dan are preparing to host family members for the first Christmas since Miranda's parents died and left her a huge, dilapidated country house just outside of London. This turns into a direct conflict with her sister, who is looking for a handout after her husband is fired because he's an alcoholic, and her career is in the shitter. This is your typical dysfunctional family drama taking place during the Christmas season. The main plot is about money. There's a cheating spouse, there's a teenager with extreme growing pains and parent issues, and everything magically works out in the end. I don't really feel like I'm giving anything away here. It's a very predictable movie. It's worth a watch. Don't expect anything new here, but I liked it enough, and I think it's good enough to recommend. Maybe put it in for some holiday background noise while trimming and decorating the tree, I guess, this Christmas. Christmas Time, also known as My Brother the Time Traveler, is a 2017 Christmas movie shot in just 6 days. It was produced by, written by, and stars McLean Nelson and Jake Van Wagner, with the latter also directing it. Two estranged brothers try to reconnect at Christmas, but there's something that one of them can't get past. The other thinks that he's a time traveler. So what initially attracted me to this movie is the fact that James Murray was featured in it from Impractical Jokers. And if you don't know what the show Impractical Jokers is, it's a hidden camera series. It follows four lifetime friends who takes dares to an outrageous level. This is a pretty good ending of this week's movie review highlights. If I had a small criticism for the film, is the music in the background. At times it was very Hallmark reminiscent. It's supposed to invoke emotions of levity. You'll hear it in the background of like every Hallmark movie, and they do it in this film as well. It's not necessary. Beyond that nitpick, this is a lighthearted comedy. In no means a laugh-out-loud comedy, but it has a subtle coating of levity. There is a small scene at the end of the credits, so make sure you check that out. And speaking of the credits, it does say in the beginning of the credits to be continued, but there was never a sequel to this film, and I highly doubt there ever will be one. Not that there really needs to be a sequel. The movie stands fine on its own, and it is a recommendation of mine for this holiday season. I did enjoy it, and I believe you will as well, so take a look this holiday season. And what I do here is just bring up Plex.tv, and I go into this free movies and TV. I go into movies and TV shows. And then I just scroll down, and then we have Holiday Marathon, and click on that. And then here's all the free streaming movies that you have for your holiday enjoyment. So check them out, the ones I recommended, definitely. And yeah, this is the last video for this 7-day series. So tomorrow is Christmas. When I present this, this will be up on Christmas Eve. So again, I've said it in many other videos. I wish you a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll make videos before the new year. And that's it, gals and guys. If you want to give me a huge Christmas present this evening, you can subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that very much. Please share this with anyone who's looking for some holiday Christmas Eve entertainment. And thumbs up if you like this video, and thumbs up if you hate this video. And then hit the bell for updates. And yeah, I'm saying and a lot. So I appreciate you as always, and I said it again, damn it. All right, have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas.